Now, I want to stay on the issue of law and bring in our next guest, the founder of the Article 3 Project, Mike Davis. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. As we were chatting about during the break, I absolutely love your X feed as well. You practically set that entire platform on fire. The biggest news to me that caught my eye coming out of the recent updates from the trial is that the former Federal Election Commission commissioner, Bradley Smith, he's effectively been nixed. They've narrowed the scope of his testimony such that he has been neutered. Look. From the very beginning, this has been what has seemed to be a very one-sided trial. But what are your thoughts on that aspect alone?
Well, you have this Democrat Manhattan judge who donated to Biden in 2020, donated to another campaign, can't even mention the name. They can't even share a news article from the New York Times, for example, mentioning Lauren Michaud's name or Trump goes to jail. Trump can't mention Stormy Daniels. He can't mention Michael Cohen. He can't mention Matthew Colangelo, the former number 3 political appointee in the Biden Justice Department who got deployed to Soros-funded Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg's office to bring this bogus case. Trump can't even mention the facts that the Manhattan jury pool voted 87% for Joe Biden. Somehow that will get Trump thrown in prison, let alone the facts that Colangelo and Bragg and Judge Merchan rigged the jury selection process. It's already 87% for Biden. And then they further rigged it. So if you follow Trump on social media, the 3 people in Manhattan who follow Trump get bounced out of the jury pool. But if you follow Biden, you're in. So it doesn't surprise me at all that this judge who let Michael Cohen give his legal opinions on campaign finance law would prevent an actual campaign finance law expert, the former chairman of the Federal Election Commission, Brad Smith, from testifying. This is a completely rigged, political, corrupt process against President Trump.
Yeah, and he got in a fight with one of the defense witnesses yesterday. Bob Costello was just trying to simply tell his side of the story. Just remarkable moments in this trial. There's 2 outcomes here possibly, right? There could be a conviction, an acquittal, or a hung jury. If this were to be a conviction, do you think the judge has committed reversible error that an appeals court will reverse?
There's no question that Trump is not guilty of anything. There's not even legal. Trump does not even know what the legal allegations are against him. The only crime that was committed, the only crime that we learned about in this trial was Michael Cohen taking $60,000 from President Trump, embezzling $60,000 from President Trump. That's the only crime we learned about in this trial. But at the end of the day, this is such a rigged process that I am convinced this jury, this biased jury, this rigged jury is going to find him guilty. This judge will convict. He's a biased, corrupt judge whose daughter's raising money off of this case, millions of dollars. I think they're going to try to put him in prison. And at a minimum, they're going to call him a convicted felon before November 5th, 2024, to try to affect the election because they see Trump beating Biden like a drum on November 5th.
Yeah. But some polls have shown that with independents, a guilty verdict actually helps President Trump in the polling, at least. We'll wait and see if that actually affects the outcome of the election. But, okay, so they are adjourned. They're back next week. What do you expect the timeline to be? Is this going to wrap up relatively soon so that President Trump, as I know he is champing at the bit to do, can get back out on the campaign trail?
I don't think any reasonable juror in America would find Trump guilty of any crime here, but we're not dealing with a reasonable jury. We're dealing with a rigged Manhattan jury, a Trump deranged jury. I think they're going to find him guilty. The judge is going to convict. And who knows what happens after that. I do think this judge will try to put President Trump in prison. If the New York appellate courts, if the New York Appellate Division or the New York Court of Appeals, which is the New York Supreme Court, if they don't step in and fix this, the Supreme Court of the United States will have to fix this because this case, look, there's no crime here. And even if there were legal allegations, the star witnesses, Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen, are a complete disgrace. They're not credible. Michael Cohen is a convicted serial perjurer, felon. He admitted to embezzling from Trump. But guess what? We're not dealing with a fair process. We have a corrupt judge, partisan prosecutors, and a rigged jury.
Yeah. You know, there are no cameras in that courtroom, and I have to think that Judge Juan Merchan is pretty grateful after his explosion. I don't think anybody would want to see that coming from the bench. It certainly doesn't seem nonpartisan. All right, Mike Davis, we always love having you on the show. We love your legal perspective on all of this, and we also very much love your feed on X. So thank you so much for that gift to this country.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.